Okay, good. All right. Well, what are we expecting to see in the discussion?
The cases, the new
Yes,
cases
very
that
good, very good. Okay,
the materials for us to discuss today.
okay.
Okay, wow, okay. This one, a very long case actually. It's gonna be exciting. And also there is one case from Irma. Okay, great. Let's start then. Welcome everyone to the sales chapter meeting. And I need to appoint somebody to be my secretary. Irma, could you please help me to be my secretary? Irma,
I'm so sorry.
would you like to be my secretary today?
Oh, okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Irma. Okay, let's start then, yeah. We have one case from Irma, from you actually, Irma. So please set us up about your case. Could you please explain more?
Okay. I have one cases.
I think she's lagging, yeah. Okay, she's Irma, you are lagging. Okay, let me set the case up then, yeah. Okay, so there is no screenshot, but there is some explanations from Irma. Let's try to read. Identification. Francisca is one of our guests that interested in Casa Bustamante and find property from the website. She wants to book directly through WhatsApp and want to get the best price from us. But it turns out that the price on Airbnb and website haven't been updated. So she thinks she will get the price according to the website and Airbnb or cheaper than these platforms. Build the trust. Francisca wants to tell her family the price and still maintain the price she wants to get the website. Okay, and discovery, I asked about the budget. How many people? Okay, but she's not answered these questions. Okay, we know that the fault lies with us because the price on. Okay, this is actually only an explanations about the problem, yeah. We don't really see how Irma did the negotiations and how Irma tried to communicate this to the guests. So Irma, please attach that dulu gitu ya, before we discuss. Jadi we don't know what to discuss here gitu, karena ini only about the problem, Irma. So I think we're just gonna skip this one ya, Irma, until you have the conversations.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And please, this is also a reminder for everyone. If you want to bring your case, please give the clear and complete context of your case. Okay. Yes, Mr. Jing?
If I may, also, Irma, this is important, and also for everybody here. I'm here to also call out core value recognitions. Also, I'm here to call out when things don't really go according to plan. So please just take it as constructive feedback. Okay. Nadine's absolutely right. In this particular case, I don't see the exact context of what's happening. And also, what confuses me is Irma's explanation. So I'm not really understanding what the problem is, right? So it's actually, I can pinpoint it down to this line. It's at the very top. She says, Irma in identification says she wants to directly book through WhatsApp and want to get the best price from us. But it turns out the prices on the Airbnb haven't been updated, so she thinks she will get the price according to website and Airbnb or cheaper. That is very confusing to me. I'm not sure what that means, right? We have not actually been able to clearly state what the guest is experiencing or what they really want. So if she understands that Airbnb and and our website has a certain price, what's the problem? Is she expecting that if she comes direct to us, she gets a better price, or we're going to stick with the price that's already posted there? So we need to I think explain the problem a little bit more in a way that that we know what the problem is. Okay.
Precise, yeah.
Yeah, it needs to be precise. We need to know how to make a decision because right now I'm not sure what that means in the way that's been written. The other thing is this: we need to understand what each of these stages means. This is not identification, everybody. This is just a. I'm not sure what this is actually. Identification means we have identified what type of guest Francisca is. Okay, so identification means this: Francisca is a mother. She is traveling with 6 people. Her needs are she's coming from Jakarta. She is a value driven guest who has a logos or a pathos mindset, because then that gives us a framework to then identify how to pitch Francisca. So we're just really just kind of this is the identification that Irma has done. It sounds like we need a bit more of the discovery, okay? But even then, there's not much discovery here because if this was done well, we should know what she really wants, right? She wants to get a good price. Okay, good. In addition to a good price, what else does Francisco want? That is discovery, okay? If we don't, and we just narrow down to one particular thing, we don't have a very airtight case to present. We cannot present value if we just if we're only negotiating on price, we cannot understand value from the guest perspective. So we need to understand what else are they looking for. Do they want to be comfortable? Do they want to have a successful holiday, or do they just want to have a cheap holiday? So these are the kind of discoveries that Irma will have to engage in order to round out her negotiation skills. So, but without seeing the context and without seeing a accurate report, it becomes difficult to have a conclusive discussion about this particular case. Nadine, you're doing the right thing. We need to skip it, and Irma needs to go and report better so that it's there. Irma, once again, I've just given this advice to set expectations for the rest of the chapter, but also to give you some material so that you can positively transform and think about what you can do better to belong in this team. Okay? All right, let's keep on going. Nadine.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, let's move to the next case. This is coming from Kyla, but this is also one of the rules. If you want if you are actually bring up a case, you need to be present. But Kyla is understandable because she is attending her class. But to everyone, if you're able to join the meeting and you have case, you need to be present. Okay. Okay, this is approach based on the guidelines only without pairing. This is an approach conducted by one of our trials. Okay, Helen, without having a pairing first with any of the BD team. They want to try out on their own first. The guidelines has been this is the guideline, and then we haven't had an step-by-step pairing, but the location and function guideline have before. Okay, explain conversation. Please tell me. Okay, this is the conversations. Wow. Okay. I'm trying to zoom in everyone. Okay, I think I cannot. Okay, just doing this. Oke, Om Swastiastu, Pak. Saya Helen, dapat kontak Bapak dari Facebook. Benarkah dengan ownernya, Pak? Mau tanya-tanya tentang fasilitasnya. Iya, Kak. Mau booking tanggal berapa? Kalau kalau ada 2 bedroom, private pool, and then ada wifi Kak, Pak? Ada. Oh iya, Pak. Baru Kak vilanya. I don't know why this messages has been deleted. And then baru Kak, baru jadi 2021. There is a living room and sudah lengkapi dengan smart TV. Oke. Oh iya, pantas saya lihat di Google kurang banyak review, tapi kelihatannya bagus, Pak. Ibu bisa nonton YouTube di TV. Saya Helen dari Bukit Vista, startup property management yang sudah beroperasi sejak 2019 dan sudah memanage 180 villa. Saya sedang cari villa untuk di-manage. Apakah tertarik, Pak? Kakak dasar dari mana, asal kotanya? Maaf, saya masih kecil, Kak, umur 26. Oke. Sistemnya gimana, Kak? Oh iya, Kak, maaf baru balas. Tadi ada telepon. Sistemnya persenan dari booking, Kak. Jadi kita nanti yang lakuin marketing, analisis data, oke. Oke, iya nggak apa-apa. Untuk jawab yang ini, kita kantornya di Jimbaran. Kita selama ini manage properti Bali dan Jogja. Kira-kira ada yang perlu diimprove kah dari properti Kakak, misalnya marketing? Oke. kami buka harga 950 sudah termasuk fee 5%. Untuk tawar-menawarnya bisa kita diskusikan, Kak. Mungkin mau di setting meeting, diskusi dengan tim lainnya. Okay, wait. I will need to tell my parents. I will give you the decision tomorrow. Okay, boleh. Saya follow up lagi besok. And okay, this is one case ya, one owner. It's different, right, with this one, Helen? Could you please confirm?
Yes, it's different.
Okay. Okay, let's go discuss one by one. So this is the way Helen approached the property owners, actually. So let's let's go to yoga. Yoga. What do you think? What do you think of Helen's approach based on
Um,
the 5 stages that we have?
okay, I think Helen approaches is basically kind of follow the 5 stages that sell up that a process sells. Um, she firstly asks about the facility, which is it's part of the identification process. Um, what's the property head and so on and so on, and then maybe I don't see quiet following up to next uh, part of next step of the sales process because I don't see there's any discovery or maybe matching process in here. I think that's my opinion.
Okay. So you don't see any discovery process and pattern matching, yeah, yoga. Okay, let's go to Josh. Do you have another opinion?
Okay, thank you, Kanadin. So first of all, I want to point out the opening is kind of good from Helen because it's rather ambiguous. It's a good starter because you were asking about the facilities. I think the owner won't necessarily know if we're like a guest or if we're property management. But I think it's a pretty good opening. And then she also identified herself, so that's good. But I don't think I'm not quite sure that it's a good thing to start asking like interrogating questions like is there Wi-Fi like that, but I'm also not sure. She's following the guidelines. She mentioned about Bukit Vista. Regarding the 5 stages, she's asking, let's see, well, she's asking in what ways we can help, but the client is also quite weird asking questions that are unrelated. And in here she's saying that we are here in Bali, so she's asking if there's anything that could be improved. So for that part, I think she's trying to discover, but maybe the execution could be better. That's what I
I
think,
see.
Sika.
Okay, how would you improve that, Josh?
um well, I would try to change the wording, see, in
Okay.
just
How is that
yeah.
would be?
um I think what I would do more is to present more of like the different functions we can do, that we can provide actually for for the for the property owner, see.
Okay, so you're gonna tell all the things that we can do instead.
Yes, ka, that would be my approach, but yeah, I'm still quite unsure.
Okay. Thank you, Josh. Let's go to Dimas. Dimas. Actually, Dimas, do you agree with
Yes.
Josh's opinion that he could probably just tell what we could do instead of um, instead of the way Helen did?
Let me start off with how Helen responds to this inquiry partnership. I think she did
Mm-hmm.
well for the 5 stages. she did the identification, which she introduced the company, and also I think she also do the discovery, which is she asked about this specific property and about the facilities available. What could have been improved, I think, is that engagement. This owner to confused about our about the about the company that we run. So I think it needed to be improved on the build trust and engagement.
I see. Okay, interesting. Let's go to Moana. Moana, what do you think, Moana? Do you agree with this trial candidate's opinion, or do you have your own opinion, Mo?
I have a bit different opinion actually. So
Okay.
actually, it could start like to in the beginning, but in the middle, the one that need to build trust and discover more need to be improved in there. So the wording I agree. In there is the conversation kayak kesinambungannya kurang gitu loh, kayak random thing and then you ask the service and random thing like there is like um, need to be apa ya, flow-nya can be better gitu. Jadi kayak discovery lebih apa, instead of asking Wi-Fi, hey, how is you doing? Like when since you build it, like your property performance is it good? Like like you have many guests now, or like it's more like into the how actually the property performs and how they feel happy still during the pandemic, like and then from there you discover more, right? So when you discover more, oh, I see. Like for example, like oh, not that many guests, I'm struggling to find a guest, or the other way, oh, I have my property is full of gas now, so so like more into like that, the discovery.
Okay. More into this discovery, Moana. Okay, thank you, Moana, for your opinion. Okay, maybe let's go to my opinion then, Helen. So I'm seeing that you're actually trying to get in the flow, get to the stages, but maybe the way you execute it is not the best way to do it. Jadi on the first identifications, you have one thing correct actually, Helen. You know that this is a balanced people, a balanced person, so you're trying to be seeking a common ground, building the common ground. So you're having this Om Swastiastu greetings. That's a very simple gesture sebetulnya, and it's good actually, Helen. And then I'm seeing that you're trying to discover the MKL, whether this facilities is MKL or not, right, Helen? And then, but the trust is actually not really built juga sebetulnya, Helen. The way I think the way you explain what is Bukit Vista ini juga masih terlalu features, not the benefits. Helen, this is masih terlalu features. Kita Bukit Vista sejak 2019, we manage 180 property, and then what? Gitu. What's the benefits? Gitu. What's the benefits by knowing you have this property sudah di manage banyak gitu? Itu belum. Jadi you need to find the benefits yang easily understood by the person gitu. That's the second one. And then the way you discover, I really I really understand you trying to discover. Okay, but the way you ask itu shouldn't be this way. Like what I thought previously, the trust belum ke-build, and then you try to discover this way. Kira-kira ada yang perlu di-improve nggak, Pak? Misalnya marketingnya gitu. That can be very intimidating. Siapa namanya, Helen, because belum ada trust, he probably see you as a stranger, and then you're trying to dig very right away asking, ada yang perlu diimprove nggak, Pak, marketingnya? Dan lain-lain itu sangat apa ya, itu salah lah menurutku, the way you try to discovernya. Tapi what I see from you is good adalah you're actually trying to following these stages sebetulnya, Helen, but you need to have more practices on the execution. And I agree with Moayana, the way you discover itu tidak perlu right with that direct questions juga sebetulnya, Helen. You can see, oh this is the new villa ya. Gimana Pak bookingannya baru buka semenjak pandemi. Gimana situasinya? Nah itu dengan calibrated questions itu kita punya namanya calibrated questions sangat juga useful for the discovery. Jadi mereka bisa menjelaskan secara banyak gitu loh. Kalau pakai how terus pakai why itu mereka akan menjelaskan lebih banyak gitu. That's how you actually try to discover, Helen. That's my opinion. So the trust is not built yet, and then affecting the discovery, the way you ask and you're trying to do the discovery is also misleading lah sedikit. That's my opinion. Let's go to Mr. Jing. What's your opinion, sir?
Okay. I just shared a link with everybody, and I'll give you the login information for this. Okay. So the login to masterclass is careers at bukitvistabali.com. And then the password, it should be inspired delight, capital I, capital D, 2017, or inspired delight 2018. Okay. So I'm just going to put that there.
Kyla gave the access already, sir.
Okay. Great. If you guys.
Kyla has udah given.
Perfect. Okay. Now, this is what I want to do. Nadine is exactly right. Helen, you went into step 3 without going to step 2. So you have not built rapport, you have not built trust, and you're immediately trying to uncover and discover what this person's issues are. They might not feel comfortable sharing. In fact, how do we know that? We know that because this person retreated from engagement. Okay? So instead of telling you more about what their problems are, they retreated. How did they make a retreat? They said, I need to talk to my parents first. That is generally a sign of they don't trust you. You can
My colleagues, they're in the office.
Maybe don't open that right now, right? You guys can open this later after to watch it. How do you know a retreat? A retreat often sounds like this. Oh, I don't know. I can't make a decision. I need to talk to my wife. I need to talk to my pet. I need to talk to basically, I won't tell you what my problems are. I'm going to talk to somebody else. I'm going to disengage from this discussion. That's certainly not a good sign. Okay. So let's go back to understanding a few ways where we could pick this up. Nadine just brought up a few ways that Helen, you could have actually deepened your engagement, built more trust in engagement, some calibrated questions. But I'm also going to expand the answer that Nadine's put in with using techniques that we talked about yesterday. Okay. You can start with an accusation audit. You can start with, you probably think I'm just another agent who's wasting your time by selling you management services that you don't need. But what I'd really like to talk about is how to make your property perform better. Okay, that is then immediately moving from accusation audit to a benefit. You might be wondering why I'm talking to you about this property when in fact it seems like I have a different motivation, right? And I'll be very clear. My motivation today is to ask if you would actually consider joining and becoming our 181st partner of Bukit Vista and understanding why 180 other people have chosen to let Bukit Vista manage their properties for them. That is also a strong accusation audit move to a benefit. Okay. So that kind of gets you into a place where you can start building trust. Another way you can build trust is to open with a no-oriented question. Another way is you need to learn how to mirror and label Helen. Okay. After this person has told you something, you need to figure out how to mirror and label. Let me just show you my screen real quick, and we can look at simple ways that you can mirror. Okay. I'm just going to pull this material from masterclass right here, and we'll take a look at the screen. All right, so what's happening here after I share my screen is that we have two people. We have Sandy and we have Derek, okay? Sandy is the person negotiating and Derek is the person who is following the negotiation. Sandy is the negotiator and Derek is the subject. Okay, so let's look at how a conversation flows between Sandy, who's the negotiator, and Derek, who's the client. So, okay, Derek begins by saying, "Hey, Sandy." Sandy mirrors by saying, "Hey, back." Derek says, "How are you?" Sandy says, "Good. How are you?" A mirror again. Derek says, "Happy Monday." Sandy mirrors again, "Happy Monday to you. How was your weekend?" Okay, this is a mirror followed by a calibrated question. Busy. It was really busy. How was yours? Too short. I bet yours was too short too. Okay. I mean, I spent a lot of time with my team, my basketball team. We practiced basketball, a mirror again. And then we went out to lunch afterwards. Oh, out to lunch, another mirror. Yeah, they're a good group. I like those guys. I like them a lot. So, what you see here, Helen, is that by getting to step two, right? Sandy is mirroring Derek's speech patterns. She's mirroring what he's saying. And by mirroring correctly, Derek has now gone into explaining more about his situation. So Sandy has moved to level 3, discovery, by just doing level 2 really well, by getting that trust and building rapport. Yeah, they're a good group. I like those guys. I like them a lot. Challenging at times, it's rewarding nonetheless because I get an opportunity to provide them with life lessons and provide them with a role model that changes their lives in a way that they're obviously missing. Okay, Sandy then does a label. It seems like providing them with someone to look up to is really important to you. Derek expands, right? Yeah, because blah 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 immigrant community. Okay, Sandy goes, wow. I say that they're right behind the 8 ball already. Another mirror behind the 8 ball. Yeah, I mean, okay, see, that's how you know you've actually built rapport. You know you've built rapport, Helen, when the person starts offering and starts giving you information without you even prompting. Okay. So that is building trust and building rapport, a connection with somebody. That is what you need to move to. Because if you go out and start asking pointed discovery questions right away without them offering, you know you probably have moved too quickly into this phase of negotiation. That's what you need to practice on at this point, Helen, is how to build that trust, how to build that rapport. There's a few techniques that I'll just overview again. Accusation audit. Remove the fear that this person has with speaking to you by just claiming the obvious thing. You might think I'm a salesperson trying to negotiate with you, right? You might be wondering what a stranger is doing talking to you out of the blue. You might be wondering if this deal is going to be safe for you and your family. Those are all ways to just dispel the tension that might be lurking there. As soon as this person starts speaking, start mirroring, right? Start just copying a little bit about what they've said and give a label to it. Like it sounds like when they said they wanted to talk to their family, you could have labeled right there. You need to talk to your family? Question mark. And they would probably respond, yes, I need to talk to my family to get the details right. Sounds like your family's involvement in this is important to you. Okay. Yes, it is important because they make decisions and we always talk about these things as a group. Okay, right. You have more information again, right? You always make decisions as a group. Question mark. And then we'll say, yeah, this is how we've always done it before. When we built this property, blah 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 blah. So that's how you get this person to start talking. And when they start talking, you are doing your discovery by motivating those particular things to happen. Okay, so that's where I would refine your technique. And for everyone who just got the link, you can watch basically how this technique is practiced by watching the class, but then also going to the next lesson where they break down the simulation and they show essentially how each step is played. Okay. After you've discovered Helen, then you will have control over the deal. You will have the information that lets you know what particularly is the decision making process for how this person thinks. Okay. You'll have gathered trust because now they feel comfortable sharing information with you because you've already identified the worst thing that could happen, right? And you shared empathy about their concern about the worst thing that could happen. What you're moving to is this moment, everyone. You're moving to a moment where they go, you know what? That's right. Okay. When you then offer in your discovery, like, hey, I understand from having this conversation with you that you are young, that you are afraid of making decisions because this is the first time that you've been put into a management position, right? You shared with me that it is important for you to make decisions with your family as a whole. I also understand that making these decisions sometimes takes time because you need to coordinate with different parties of your family and they might not all be available. I also understand that it is important to gain trust and I want to earn that trust. Can we move to the next step here, right? I'll just follow with you after a week, okay? Because you told me that that's about the necessary time that you need to get your family together to make this decision. And then we will go over point by point, safely and securely, so that you can feel good about being a young decision maker and representing your family well. Does that sound like a good next step to you? And of course, they would say, that's right, that's exactly my problem. And you have moved forward into the deal, okay? So, but you need to get them to trust you enough where they actually start telling you about these things. And for the most part, everyone, what I've noticed in Indonesia is people like to trust people, right? People like to actually make connections and speak openly. So it doesn't take a whole lot of, let's say, you don't need to be like very like slick or anything. You just need to kind of like confront a few things. You need to confront that people might be afraid of speaking to you. You need to confront that fear. You need to confront that they have no reason to trust you right from the go, right? So you need to be able to slowly build up that trust by thinking about how to empathize with their particular situation. Okay. All right, that's it. That's how I would expand. But Nadine, your answer is brilliant. I've just added a few more details to go into that. Okay, I'll pass it back to you, Nadine, as the conversation leader.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, for the addition. Yes, Helen, do you have question?
Yeah, actually, after that conversation, I have the I have the conversation continued like the that day when I follow up, and maybe I could share my screen. I'm afraid if my language
Sure,
is
sure.
too like too relax, too santai gitu. Uh,
Sure, please
maybe
share your screen then.
yeah. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is what I follow up him to. But yeah, I'm trying to use like a relaxed language, everyday language like that. So I say, selamat sore Kak Yudi, saya Helen yang kemarin menawarkan meeting. Are you interested to discuss more with us? So he said, wait, because his parents is out of town. I following up the tomorrow of that day because he said that nanti saya kasih besok saya pastikan. So I don't know that his parents is out of town. And then I say, okay, but if you want to just me to hear our next explanation, more explanation, maybe you can do that, and there will be another meeting to make another decision. So you don't have to make decision when we meet for the first time. But then I say, if we wait is also okay. The decision is in your hand. I say. So he said, he's kinda I'm already because he seems kinda mad at this point. So he said, that was it. We we want to meet with our parents so that we can understand too. But my parents is out of town, and then he's I'm a little bit shocked by that time. So he replied again, biar datang orang tua saya dari luar kota baru bisa Kak. Kalau saya sendiri juga nggak enak Kak. By that point I started to understand, and then I said, okay, when can I follow up more? He said next month. Is there anything that I can improve by this?
Okay. All right. Nadine, well, I see
Let's pass it over, sir.
yeah,
Let's
let's
pass
pass
it
it over.
over.
Let's pass it over. See what you would have done.
Yoga to yoga.
Nadine, I have an idea. I have an idea. Let's try this, right? Let's try this. As leaders of this conversation, let's give everybody here an opportunity to submit what they would have written instead. Okay, so let's start on. Let's start at 2:09. Oh wait, let's start at 2:20. 2:20 p.m. The client has written back to us. Okay, the client has written back to us. And Nadine, this is what I want everyone to do. Can everyone within the next 1 minute write back what you think you could have said to stay engaged and build up further trust with this particular person. Okay, Nadine. Then we can get everyone's opinion, and then we can examine who has the best opinion, and that will go faster than one-on-ones. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, let's try it.
Please do it on the chat section in the whereby ya. Jangan di koda karena nggak bisa tulis bareng-bareng. Just put it in the chat. Okay, 1 minute start from now.
Yes, please. And if you guys have something faster, just put it in. Right. We'll take a look at what people write in.
Canadian surging, I would just like to say that my Indonesian is not the best, so I'm just pointing that out.
Okay, Josh, you can write it in English. I'm going to write mine in English. Yeah, so that'll be fine. Yeah, just write what in because the language of negotiation I think is universal because business is universal. So you just simply have to translate it into whatever culture or whatever context is appropriate. So the most important is that you understand the concept, not necessarily understand the actual language. Okay, that part I believe each of us could adapt.
Okay, surging, thank you.
Okay. Let's go actually over. While we're writing this in, I'll just ask. I'll ask. Who? Let's ask Josh. Josh, you've already finished it. Do you think the parents are actually outside of the city? Do you believe that this person's parents are actually here or not?
Okay, thank you, surging. So, to be honest, I'm not quite confident with
Right.
that. It's quite possible that he's using his parents as a reason to disengage and get out of this
Correct.
conversation.
Correct. Very good. Helen, this is very common as a disengagement tactic. And in Indonesian culture, it's very common not to hear a no. People generally just don't say no. They just go, they give you a reason, right? But you just need to logically ask yourself, does that sound like a good reason? Okay. Um, is it possible that the parents don't use video phones or phones at all, right? Is it possible that the parents are going to be outside of the city for a month? Um, so as soon as you have detected that you've gotten a no, then you need to also understand who's doing the persuasion negotiation. Is it them or is it you? Because if you're persuaded that there is a parent and they're not going to get back to you within a month, then you're not doing the selling, you're being sold. Okay. So that is something I think that is also important to detect. If you're persuading, you should actually be the one that is getting the other person to see your point of view. But if you're getting to see their point of view, then you have not succeeded in your persuasion. Okay. Besides, everyone else, just type whatever you want to type in. And let's start seeing some answers. They don't have to be the right answer. They just have to be some answer. And then we'll start analyzing this. Okay. This is meant to be fast, right? So we can kind of analyze a lot of ideas all at the same time. Nadine, I'll turn it back to you now.
Okay, so yeah, let's everyone, have you done writing your apa reply to this message? Just send it now. Send it now.
Okay,
Okay?
send it out.
Because Josh. Okay. Okay, let's go to the Dimas first, yeah. Oke, Dimas say that. Oh, baik Kak, kalau begitu. Sebelumnya apakah ada pertanyaan mengenai partnership ini? Oke. Joshua, baik Kak, kalau begitu mungkin ada pertanyaan dari Kakak atau bisa. Oke. Oke, kalau begitu orang tua Kakak masih di luar kota ya. Oke, that's yoga. Mhm. And then Mr. Jing, sounds like having trusted people around you is important before you can make decision. Yep. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna send mine. That's mine. Okay, Irma, will you give your opinion? Oh, Irma. Oke. Siap, Kak. Kalau boleh tahu kapan bisa saya ngobrol lebih lanjut dengan Kakak? And mau why not order di luar kota kayaknya di kan. Wait, okay. Very various and interesting. Okay. Miss, so go to Mo Wayana's answer. This is interesting. Mo Wayana will say ortu so your parent in luar kota. Kayaknya ini bukan prioritas dari orang tuanya. I mean, what do you mean, Mo?
It's fairly aggressive.
What do you mean, Mo? You're muted. You're muted.
I mean like apa ya, kayak nggak semangat kalau memang orang tuanya di luar itu lebih nggak prioritas dari mbaknya ini sih. Jadi bisnisnya aku nggak tahu ini mbaknya siapa, anaknya atau siapa. Jadi ini mbaknya ini bukan prioritas untuk orang tuanya untuk ngambil apa ya, it's not urgent gitu. Jadi maksudnya aku itu sih. Lebih mungkin prioritas mbaknya untuk ngomong ke orang tua kali ya bahasanya lebih tepatnya.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Okay, thank you, Mo. For the others, like Josh answer, and then Dimas answer, and also Yoga answer, and Irma answer indicates you are being persuaded by this person actually. And for Mr. Jing, yeah, I would agree with that. But mine, it sounds like you need to take more days to give the decision because the previous if you remember the previous chat before this one, he said that he only needs 1 day to clarify, right? Saya kasih tahu besok ya, bener gak tadi Helen?
Yeah, yes.
And then when you follow up, dia bilang in the sudden orang tuanya di luar kota, right? And then yeah, that's why I came up with it sounds like you need to take more days to give the decisions. And yes, and then I just realized you probably also failed in the identifications. Also, Helen, at the very first time, you don't really know whether this is the owner or not. Are you talking to the right person or not? Is this literally their children, or is this just a staff? We never know. So that's probably also failed on the identifications. What's your thought, sir?
Yeah. Okay. Let me review each person's response. And Nadine, I think
Yep.
we can try doing this in the future because this will allow us to inspect everybody's ideas faster, and it will also make this meeting much more engaging because everyone will be participating. So I'll give my feedback for each person. So first to Joshua, baik jika begitu mungkin ada pertanyaan dari kakak atau yang that's not the right way, Josh, because you're going back into the same cycle again, right? Of trying to discover without building trust. So you can't. That doesn't really resolve the situation. The reason they're not telling you anything is because they don't trust you. The reason they don't trust you, and you know it, is because they're trying to disengage from the conversation. So you need to go back to step one and step two. Like Nadine just said, you need to actually maybe go back and identify: are you the decision maker in this particular situation, right? Just simple as that. And then that reframes the question, right? Oh, I'm not. Thank you for for figuring that out. That's why I wasn't able to tell you the truth. Okay, so then you need to go back to steps 1 and 2. Okay, so don't go keep on trying to discover when you know that there's not enough trust here. Um, okay, Nadine's Okay, Nadine, this is why I wrote sounds like you having trusted people around you is important before you can make a decision. Because my attempt here is to get this person to replace parents with us, right? In terms of the trusted person thing. So it
Mm.
seems like to me that the problem is they need outside counsel. They need trusted counsel in order to go ahead with that decision. So I'm trying to find what the root cause of this delay is, right? So I'm exploring this idea.
Mm.
It sounds like you need to have a trusted opinion around you before you can make a decision, and they probably say, yeah, that's probably the case, right? And then I would go into, you probably don't trust me 100% at this point, right? Or you would there be maybe turn that into a no question, right? Accusation audit to try to understand what is the issue about their current hesitation, and then build from there. So that was my angle on that side. Okay, next to Dimas. Same issue as Josh, right? You're going back into discovery without actually building the trust again. So you, at this point, what's important, Josh, Demas, is that you build empathy. You need to like kind of get into this person's thought process of why they are trying to disengage and re-engage with them, not by asking a question about like, okay, do you have any questions or anything, right? But by really empathizing and saying, hey, look, I can understand the way you feel. You're young, you're really new at this, and let me try to begin from that point. Yoga, okay, that's funny, right? Okay, masih dulu koto, yeah, that might be a way of mirroring, so that's a pretty good
Yeah.
approach. um, in this case, the mirror, we might have to use judiciously, yoga, because what are they going to say afterwards, right? This is why I asked everybody, you have to make a decision whether or not you believe the story. In this case, if you do that mirror, you might just help them extend the lie more, right? Yeah, they're going to be gone for, a few
Mm.
more days, and you don't necessarily want to discover more about the lie. You kind of actually want to go and uncover why they're giving you this excuse, okay? So that is a mirror, and it is correct to use mirrors, but you have to also think about the purpose of this mirror, right? Will it actually
Mm.
uncover the issue at hand? The issue at hand is not that their parents are outside. The issue at hand is we've identified this is probably a disengaging strategy. They're trying to retreat away. So then you need to confront, why do you want to retreat away without being very explicit about it, right? Okay.
Ah.
Um, Nadine gave a really interesting idea. So she tried to frame it around timing. You need some more time, right? But timing might not be the crucial issue here, Nadine. It's more about trust. Okay. So we haven't built enough trust to even know what is the crucial decision making factor right now. We haven't found that pivot point. So we need to go back to getting trust however we can so that we can discover, is the number of time the solution? Because this goes back to like the thing that yoga just did, right? If they say, yeah, we need more time, but it's not more time to make a decision, it's more time to avoid you, then you haven't actually gotten to the root cause yet. So back to that. Irma, okay, Irma says, kalau boleh tahu kapan bisa saya ngobrol lebih lanjut dengan never, basically, Irma, right? They don't want to talk to you at this point. They just want you to go away and never bother them again. But you don't know why yet. So at least if you're told to go away and never bother me again, you should know why, right? You should know it's because I don't trust you. It's because I don't trust people who call me on the phone, right? Then you can move to the next step. Oh, would it be better if we met in person? You can have a solution for that. But that's still not really the issue. Wana's approach is very aggressive. It might work, right? It might work to spur this person into action, but it also might get this person again thinking, I don't trust you. I don't want to talk to you. Can I please just disengage? Okay. The Here's a creative way you can actually go about this. You can a lot of times the easiest way to uncover a lie is to tell a story about somebody else who lied but eventually found the right way. Okay. I could go like this, I go like, you know what? It sounds like this issue with your parents is really holding up this deal. Can I ask you, are you in a position to make decisions about the direction of your property? Just get some answer out of them. And they might say, no, I really am not. I really rely on, my parents to do this thing, and I could go into a story like saying that sounds about right. But before we go any further, this is why it's good to get people on the phone too. You can tell long stories without making it really complex. You can say something like this: I had an owner who is doing really well with us now, and this is how I first met them. When I first approached them, they also told me that they needed to talk to their parents or their friend, and it took us a few months to get started. But what I realized over time was that this young owner was just really not confident about sharing information about their private property to me. And we went through a process of where we built trust over a few months, and eventually we found that that we had a lot in common. We found that there was a lot that we could do. We found that there was a lot that we could do. I'm only bringing up the story to try to identify. Does this sound like something that we're going through right now with you, right? And then that relieves the situation a little bit. That then gives space for them to go. You know what? That's right. That's why I'm not talking to you, right? And then you've identified the feeling and the context in a way that's disarming. So that is a pretty powerful method that you can use to build trust. Tell a third party story of some other case where somebody had a wife or a parent or whoever that they needed to talk to, but the real issue was that this person didn't feel like they could trust and talk about all their problems candidly. But eventually they found out that they could. Okay, so it might be hard to share these stories if you don't know them yet, but once you get some experience, you'll hear this a lot, and you'll have had a success case. Well, if you don't know the story, then Nadine, this is where we as leaders can share stories like this to our new sales team. You can share stories like, okay, this is a pretty typical case. This has happened before, but in the end, these owners they all found that Bukit Vista was a trustworthy company, and we took care of what they needed to take care of, and all their initial fears were pretty much unfounded. And now we hang out every week in a video chat to talk about the progress of their property, and they're getting lots of bookings. So a third party story can be a really good way to diffuse this type of social awkwardness that makes each party feel safe to build trust again. It's a pretty common tactic that I see very experienced salespeople use. Okay, back to over to Nadine.
Okay, yes. Yes, that's a very interesting method to actually see how the people that involved in the meeting thinks. Yeah, actually, we can do it another time again. And yes, hopefully, because we're running out of time right now, it's not possible for us to discuss the next case from Helen as well, but we can save it for the next chapter meeting, yeah, Helen. But if you need an urgent support for this, you can reach me out on Discord, Helen, to help you convert the deal. And
Yes, siap,
hopefully you
Kak.
guys, yeah, hopefully you guys learn something from this meeting, yeah. And yep, thank you so much for joining the sales chapter meeting today. And please continue your activity and have a nice day.
Oh, Nadine, one
Bye.
last thing.
Thank
Bye.
you,
Should we
everyone.
have any expectations
Yes.
of adoption of this particular method of how to build rapport and and inspect how well our team has done it next week?
Oh, for this particular cases, right, sir? Yes, it should be. If it's the deal, if the deal still ongoing, you need to what is that? Put the result on the conclusion. Oh, still in the discussion actually.
Mhm.
So you need to put on the coda, yeah, Helen, for the can you already you already know what's wrong and what to do, right, Helen? And now you can just practice it. I mean, execute again, and then put the result in this.
Okay.
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 And
Siap.
one last thing, Nadine, for everybody else, I've shared the masterclass guideline for how to build rapport. What I'd like to see, I understand some of your trials will be ending, I think, pretty soon, but if you are accepted into the company, what I'd like to see in the next Tuesday discussion is this, right? We'll give a test at the very beginning. We'll maybe do some role play. Okay. And what I'd like to see is the competent use of how to build rapport using mirroring, using labeling, using these accusation audit as a standard technique to really build that rapport, and by doing so, enter smoothly into your discovery process. Okay, without being jagged and awkward about getting into discovery without building rapport. So that, I think, is the core lesson from today's discussion about how to build rapport without being awkward about it, and it involves basically thinking about using these techniques well. Okay. Okay, that's all I'd like to add. Then, Nadine, back to you to conclude.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for helping me to conclude. Yes. Please also put the result and the progression later, yeah, Helen, on the Coda. And Irma, once again, please remember